What's up, crew? We are going to talk about Kente cloth, which is fabric that originates from Africa. And you can see in these pictures here that Kente cloth is rich with color and pattern, bold lines, bold shapes, and these fabrics are woven together to create just these amazing, they're works of art in themselves. So we're going to incorporate some geography, some social studies, some literature, and even some math to create our Kente cloth project. So here we go. First, let's look at this map of the entire globe, the whole world. Can you name the continents, first of all? And once you name those continents, can you find Africa? So Africa is one of those continents, but can you name the rest? So I'll let you pause and think about that. Maybe try to locate Africa on the map and also think of those continents. So pause it real quick. If you have unpaused it, let's go through those answers. So here's the United States right here. This is Alaska. Alaska is so big. I kind of forget how big Alaska is till I see it on a map like this. So Alaska is part of the United States. It's up here. Here's where we live. Do you see Michigan, the mitten there, and then the Great Lakes around it? Michigan's pretty easy to spot on a map because of its shape and our amazing Great Lakes. So the United States is part of North America. That's our continent, North America. Canada, U.S. Here's Mexico. That's North America. Then you have South America. So if we had a compass rose with our directions right here, it's kind of covered up. But north is toward the top, south is toward the bottom. So South America is south of North America. Makes sense. Then we have Europe over here, Asia, Australia. Then down below, you can't even see it, it's so far down south is the South Pole, Antarctica. And then here is Africa. All right, Africa's right here, a big continent. So here's a close-up of Africa. And Ghana is the country in Africa where our story takes place, the legend of how Kente cloth came to be. It's hard to see because it's not big on my projector here, but Ghana is actually a lime green country on the map. And it is on the west coast. So if we're thinking about that compass rose again, north is the top, south is the bottom, and you can actually see South Africa as a country, the furthest south point in Africa. East is this side, like the right-hand side of a map, and then west is the left-hand side of a map. So if we're on the west coast, it's kind of limeish green, at least on my screen, and it's kind of small. Can you find Ghana? It's right here. So this is the country we're going to focus in on. So the word Kente means basket, and that comes from the Ashanti dialect in Africa. Kente cloth designs vary with different designs, colors, patterns, each having their own special meanings and stories. So colors can be symbolic of characteristics or adjectives. And basket, if you can think of basket like weaving, you have to weave a basket just like you have to weave Kente cloth. So that's kind of how I think about it. So the legend says that two farmers from Ghana in Africa, the Ashanti people, discovered a wonderful spider who spun and would weave webs into beautiful designs. They wanted to make those patterns too, and they used the same material at first. Do you know what material a spider's web is? I'll give you a second to think. If you're thinking silk, you are correct. So this is the story about the legend of Kente cloth in Ghana, Africa, the spider weaver. I read that. It's also on the YouTube channel and a link in the instructions. I love that story, and I think you will too. So Ghana, Africa, silk, spider. Here's some examples. This is fabric. I can't believe how bold and bright the colors are, how amazing the patterns are, and how much time and effort it would take to weave this fabric. It's just amazing what people can do and how talented they are. So the African people who make Kente cloth, wow, I'm so impressed. I love it. So just think about wearing or displaying this type of fabric. So cool. So what do the colors mean? So the colors have, like I said, different symbols or meanings. So black in Kente cloth represents intense energy. Blue represents peace, balance, and love. Again, this is like related to African culture. So different cultures can have different meanings for different colors. And that's why we're going to use symbols based on Africa, because that's what our Kente cloth is all about. So green represents planting, the earth, nature, and growth. That's pretty universal. Green reminds us all of nature. Yellow and gold in Kente cloth represents wealth, royalty, beauty, and the sun. So gold is like a precious, precious thing. So expensive, fancy. And then, of course, yellow, the sun. Red represents sacrifice. White and silver represents purity and the moon. So yellow sun, white or silver moon. And then the pink, purples, and grays deal with healing and maybe the gentle aspects of life. So it's pretty calming, gentle, healing, getting better. If you're sick, they might have you wear pink, purple, and gray. So colors have special meanings. So when you're working and you want to remember this, you could come back and pause it on this screen. All right. There are a lot of steps, and I'm going to show you some of those steps in a different video, but this will help you if you just need to come back and pause on the instructions. So we create a loom first. A loom is what a Kente cloth maker would use to weave. So a loom has like, it's almost like strings that you can weave a paper over, under, well, or fabric over, under threads, a loom. So we create a loom first so that we can then weave our paper, because we're not going to be using fabric, we're going to be using paper. So once you fold your paper in half, I'm using black for my loom. You can use whatever you want. Fold it in half, and then on the back, so if you fold open, you want to work on the back, you're going to use a ruler, and you're going to use a ruler to create a border at the top. You're going to write your name in that border at the top. And then we're going to measure and make tick marks. So we got to be like a mathematician and be accurate with our measurements. So we know that a ruler is 12 inches long. And guess what? That's how long my paper is. If yours is not 12 inches long at home, you'll have to do some different measurements perhaps. But in person, we're using a 12-inch tall paper. So make sure your ruler goes all the way across. And then we make a tick mark, if you can see it in the picture, every 3 inches. Tick, tick, tick. And then no need to tick at the end because it's the end of the paper. So think of this as breaking your paper into fractions. So every 3 inches, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So we make 1, 2, 3 tick marks to make 4 sections. So we're breaking it into 4 sections, fourths. So we make a tick mark at the top and bottom every 3 inches, and then connect it with our ruler to make a perfectly straight line. Stop that line at that like border at the top. Don't go into the box with your name. You'll understand why, because we're going to cut them and we're going to make a loom. So we don't want to cut all the way across our paper and make strips. We just want to kind of make lines and openings, 3 of them in our paper. And I'll show you in a different video too. Then step 2, you're going to pick colored papers, at least 2 different colors. And again, we're going to line up our ruler and make tick marks every 3 inches. So 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 3, 12. There you go. So you'll use a couple strips from one color, 3 strips from another color, or if you want 5 different colors, you just need 5 total strips of paper. So you can mix, you can match. And again, tick marks at the top and bottom, connect it with a line, boom. Then you're going to start weaving the paper strips through the paper loom. So mine is black. You'll see it here. it's creating a checkerboard pattern. I chose lime green and turquoise paper with my black loom, so your checkerboard will be different colors based on the colors that you choose. I also glue down the ends so that they stay put and they're not flapping in the breeze or falling out of the loom. We want to keep them in place. Then I have an African symbols page that I made. You could pause it here so that you could look at those and make the ones that you want. In-person learners, I did have a lot of copies made, but just pause it here so you can see it. Also, I folded a little paper in half so that we could create a symmetrical spider. So spiders have symmetry, so do their webs. So symmetry means the same on both sides. So if you fold a paper in half and we draw on the folded edge, I drew the spider Nancy that matches the African folktale that I read too. Put that link in there as well. We just draw half of the spider. So if we know a spider has 8 legs, what's half of 8? 4, quattro. So you'd only draw 4 legs when you're drawing half the spider. Then when you cut along that folded side, you would then get a full spider like so. And then you could decorate the whole thing and glue it somewhere on your Kente cloth. This is my finished product here. I have woven the papers in the loom. I glued them down at the ends. I used my African symbols page that I made to create, to paint different symbols on there. I wanted to use creativity because I'm an artist. I love being creative. Carefulness, teamwork, good luck, courage, bravery, intelligence, balance, love, friendship. If you're tough, action, you like the action, transform, freedom, strength. I like the spirals of strength. Knowledge, if you're gaining knowledge. Adaptability is like a little turtle here. Energy, I like that symbol too. The universe, kind of like an all-seeing eye of the universe, and these kind of look like U's to me. Nature is almost like a double heart. Power here, I like that as well. It reminds me of like a powerful symmetrical plant. Greatness is just a series of circles, kind of like a bullseye. So I love all these different symbols. You can use as many as you want. You can repeat some or just use a few. But I wanted to make different ones, so I did that here. And some in the black, I used gold and silver Sharpie. In the colored, I used black and white paint. It's up to you. If you don't have those materials, you can kind of do whatever you want. And then I also used oil pastels to add more details as well. So a variety of materials, a variety of skills being used. You're using a lot of math to create these fractions and weavings. So just think about all the math that Kente cloth weavers had to use as well, or do use still today in Africa. So I hope that you are inspired and learned a lot about Africa and Kente cloth and the geography of our planet a little bit as well. But please check out those books. I'll put up another video where I kind of go through some of the process a little more thoroughly with the ruler and other tools. But I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with your Kente cloth. It blows my mind. So keep up the good work. Ask questions and pause and rewind as needed on the videos. And until next time, adios amigos.